Hi, welcome back. Thanks for stopping in. Today I wanted to talk about why it's important to understand ourselves. The sad thing in humanity is that very few people really take the time to ask questions to themselves like, who am I and why am I doing the things we do? The vast majority of humanity lives in complete ignorance, just going through their day to day lives like nothing really matters. Occasionally you'll come across somebody who's a deep thinker and they try to figure out what's going on and why is humanity doing what it does, and that's a great thing because that's led to some phenomenal advancements in humanity and in science. And if it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't be anywhere, and we wouldn't have some of the advancements that we have. But you're going to come up against a lot of different events in your life. Some of them are going to be fun and joyful, and those ones you just seem to don't really think too deeply about. But there's going to be things that are going to challenge you, from job losses, from career issues, from relationships, from relationship failures, to losing somebody you love that passes away, to a lot of things. And one of the things I found with a lot of people is they don't really go too deep as to understanding who they are. And the reality is, we think we're intelligent beings, but more so, we're emotional beings. And it's so important to understand how your emotions affect you and what happens in your life. That why do you get upset? And where does that upset come from? What is that upset trying to tell you? Because I believe in many aspects we should be able to find a state of peace. And I think I've come, I'm older than probably most of you. And one of the things I've learned, or I've always had in the back of my mind, is that there's an inherent, intrinsic desire for us to be what I call whole. That we get wounded, especially as children, some people more than others. And somewhere there's a bigger picture, that somewhere in the universe there's a desire for us to become whole. And what I mean by whole is, I think we're born as these beautiful little beings that, are designed to love and be loved. And unfortunately, we're not a great species for parenting. That there's so many people that have kids that don't know anything about raising them. I see so many parents that do things that I'm aghast by. Now it's even worse now with the internet. I see so many parents with babies in a carriage walking down, instead of paying attention to this beautiful thing that they've created on the internet or texting somebody. And I personally think that should be almost a crime. Well, it is a crime because this kid has no choice. They're looking for the person who's going to make the difference in their life pay attention to them. And instead, they're paying attention to some little piece of electronic garbage, which is designed to get us addicted. So we all get wounded in life, and some a lot more than others. Some people, when they're born into the world, their parents are so messed up that they are basically ignored. And you see a couple of my other videos on defensiveness, I explain a little bit about why people are defensive. And it's all because they were really wounded as children. They were born into a family whose parents and significant other people that were in their lives were so self-absorbed that they couldn't pay attention to this wonderful, wonderful little thing they created, this baby. And they ignored their child, and they didn't heal their own problems. And these kids get wounded. And a lot of times we perpetuate it from generation to generation because the generations don't wake up. They don't go, I'm upset. Why am I upset? And they don't, and not just that, beliefs. We pass on belief systems from generation to generation that never served the generation three generations ago. And this is why it's so important. If humanity is going to survive, We've got to start, one, raising children better, but we've got to start waking up. We have to start challenging ourselves. You know, a friend of mine and I put this in other videos that I think it was a Sufi quote, something about the smart man takes care of his own ego, and the fool takes care of the ego of 1,000 people. And I go through this myself sometimes when I get on the road and I'm driving and I get cut off 50 times. I find myself in that place, and then I have to bring it back and going, I'm upset right now. There's only one person that matters. This is about me. And I'm upset because of my thinking, my wounds, and nothing else. And so that is so important to bring it back to yourself. So we've all been wounded, and it varies in the degree. Some people, a horrific amount, which I think is the backbone of addictions. And there's a guy I study, and I put this in one of the other videos, that by the name of Gaber Mate. And he was a doctor here in Vancouver, and he specialized in helping people with addictions. And he said in his whole time of doing this, he did it for years, and you go find his videos because they're really, really insightful. And he said, the whole time that I was working with people with addictions, I never found somebody that wasn't deeply wounded, usually as a child, usually between ages 0 and 7, which is when our brain really locks things in. And so most people don't realize that the wound is the problem. And so to stuff that pain, they go find addictions. They go find something that they're going to get addicted to, alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex or something like that, so that they can find a sense of peace. But that sense of peace is artificial. It's not based on, I love myself. It's based on, I was wounded as a child, and as a result of that wound, all of this pain comes up, and I don't want this pain. And so I'm going to go take a drink or do something else just so I don't have to feel the pain. And if you become conscious of yourself, you're going to start to change that process. You're going to start to realize why you're upset. And there's going to be lots of things that are going to come into your life. And I believe we should be able to get to a place where we just don't get upset about things, because most things, for the most part, just don't matter. So you're going through your day, and all of a sudden, for me, it's go drive on the streets and the highways. And here in Vancouver, they're so poorly monitored that when you get upset, if you want to change your day really fast, and driving for me is, when I get upset now, I go, I'm upset. It's about me. It's not about this guy who just cut me off. They've got their problems, that they're driving this fast and they're doing all these stupid stuff. And as long as they don't touch me or hurt, what they're doing is their stuff. And they've got their own problems and their own issues. That's why they're driving so fast or driving so erratically or stuff like that, because they have their problems. And that's not my problem, because I can only change the world if I start with me, and you can only change the world if you start with you. The first place you've got to start with is start to look at, if you're upset about something, that it's a gift. And because it's a gift to your inner you. It's a gift to your core of who you are, your essence. It's a gift to say, I'm upset. This is about me. And it's generally not about today. You'll see I have another video on a thing called Choose Again, and I highly recommend it, because Choose Again has a great program that gets you to the root. Like, I'm upset. It's about me. It's not about today. When's the first time I felt this? If you can go back to that first time, it'll start to lead you to a place where you can find emotional freedom. And so if the world's going to change, it's so important that we all become more conscious of ourselves, that we start undoing these multi-generational family things that get passed on from the belief systems and wounding and idiosyncrasies that are caused by usually bad things that happen, and we pass them on from generation to generation to generation. My father passed on some crap to me that I've spent most of my life trying to undo. and same with my mother to a less degree. But it wasn't until I found Choose Again where I started to go, hey, I'm upset. This is about me. It's not about anybody else. And we're going through all these things between the pandemic and climate, what's going on with our climate, and you can't miss that our climate's going through some really rough times. Vancouver here, we've gotten smoke from all the fires in the States. We've had a couple of weeks where all we've got is massive storms. Now we're supposed to go back to the smoke in a couple of days, and it's all we've got to wake up. And it's got to start, again, I'll say this as I've said on other videos, it's really got to start with raising children. We've got to do a lot better job in raising children, and that's got to start with us healing ourselves. If the humanity's going to survive and do great things, we've got to start healing, and because most people are wounded. You can especially, there's, of all my friends, there's only a couple that have had marriages that will last a long time. I'm going to do another video on relationships in a second, but it's just we're so unconscious. So here's my biggest point. If you're upset, it's about you. It has nothing to do with somebody yelled at you or anything else like that, or you got cut off in your street, or you cut off on the road, or whatever. And that's my thing. And it's about the fact that you're upset because something inside of you has been charged, and that event is the charge that you're holding. And we're emotional beings. The charge comes from something that happened to us a long time ago. And all the thing today is doing is pushing that button. So and look at it as a gift. This gift is here to show me that I was hurt in the past and I want to change it. So anyways, thanks for coming by. I just wanted to add this little bit, and I hope you have a spectacular day, and love yourself. Like, I'm really serious. Love yourself, especially when you get upset, and just tell yourself, I'm upset. It's about me, and it's not about today. It's about something that happened in my past that I've triggered, so that I can heal it, so that I can be peaceful, and look at it as a gift. Every time you're upset, try to look at it as a gift. Have a spectacular day, and thanks for dropping by, and take care. I hope you like some of the stuff that's on this channel.